Hello, I want to talk about language of business. Language is a system of words used as symbols to convey ideas and information. Language is a means of communication. In communication, we have the sender, receiver, and the feedback. An example of language is word spoken. This is a chef standing to serve food. And you say, take your food, and you say, thank you. An example of language is word read. This is the word assets written on the board, and Mr. Johnson standing to explain the well. An example of language is people using their hands to express themselves. This is Mr. Mark standing to express himself using his hand. Words has meaning only if the receiver is able to interpret the message from the sender. And these are the words on the board. And this is the receiver, this is the receiver, and this is sender. These word assets will only have meaning if the receiver is able to interpret it. What is business? Business is buying and selling of goods and services to make profits. And all these are engaged in business to make profits. All business make informed decisions to sustain themselves. Business help to provide information such as amount of profits, amount of expenses, amount of tax to pay to relevant tax authority, and cost of investments. Therefore, language of business is a means of communicating information about the business to the user of such information. Informed decision. Language of business. In business, we have three languages. Number one, accounting language. Number two, finance language. Number three, economics language. Manager needs the input of all the business language to make an informed decision. Accounting language tells us about the past to now records. Finance language tells us about now to future projection. Economic language tells us about allocation of resources. Accounting language is a language of business. I look at past records and past records of an asset like ban. This takes historical information from a company records and put it into organized formats. This is backward looking. It helps to know how much comes in, how much is worth of the assets, how much is owned. Accounting itself is not enough to predict the future. And that is why you need finance and economic to predict the future. The sales of last year compared with the sales of this year. This is an example of accounting language. Finance language. This is also a language of business. It looks at the future projection, the future cost of a building, and this is futuristics. It is forward-looking information based on the record obtained from the accountant to project the future. How will the company value grow? How will the cost of producing the new product affect the cash flow? How will the company obtain loan? How will the company know its return on investment? What will be the company budget for the next year? Sales and purchase of 2019 and 2020 to make projections for the sales of the next 2 years. This is an example of finance language. Economic language. The language of economics is an emerging field of study that helps to understand the price range consumer will find acceptable and value that will be sold at different prices. It analyzes the value variable related to goods and services such as productions, consumptions, and trade. Economics is a language for discussing the underlying bedrock principle of how buying and selling works, supply and demand, consumer preference, price elasticities. Economics look at taking decisions for optimal outcome. It is an external force in nature. Economics look at how money and resources flow within the society. Let's practice. What is business? Business is buying and selling of products and services to make profit. Which among is not a business language? A, accounting, B, finance. C, economics. D, law. Of course, D, law. Accounting look at dash. A, future. B, past. Of course, past records. Finance look at A, future. B, past. Of course, A, future. Economics is interested in the allocation of A, resources. B, needs. Of course, A, resources. Which among is not an accounting language? A, says. B, purchase. D, consumption. Of course, D, consumption. Thank you so much for listening. Please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel.